So, I think what we've decided to do as parents, my husband and myself, is really, we've been pretty good about being consistent. To this day, my daughter at 2 years and 3 months really doesn't speak any English, and we do get from our neighbors and so on. Oh, that's terrible. She's gonna have problems. But that was the life that my husband and I grew up in, where we spoke no English until we hit school, and then English became our dominant language, and we can already feel the overwhelming encroachment of English, which means dominant American culture in our daughter's life, even as she's not spoken to or doesn't speak English yet. But we've been really fortunate to be growing up in Los Angeles to be able to provide her with the resources, find preschools in Spanish and in Japanese. And so it's been a real learning experience for us. And for myself, I think I've been rediscovering and relearning my Japanese culture from the eyes of a child. And even though, going through the different phases, the angry teenager, the rebellious teenager, and, not admitting that, I spoke Japanese, and, it was all the Japanese culture that made me this way. And if I weren't bilingual, I would I would have better test scores in English and so on and so forth. I'm actually, reliving my childhood thinking, I really had a great childhood. It was really wonderful. And all these wonderful cultural influences that my parents, both my European American father and especially my Japanese mother, provided for my family. So somewhere along the line, I don't think it was really my family, but it was being socialized and racialized in American culture that sort of created this kind of rift, I don't like this language, but, crisis and confusion and conflict. And now thinking back, the kids do fine. Children are resilient. Human beings are resilient. When we tap into the resources that we have, our extended family, what a rich resource that is, especially for those of us, if our extended family is nearby, right, what they can give our children without ever explicitly saying, this is Japanese and this is Mexican American and this is European American. I think just being and living and providing those resources really makes for rich Hapa, and sometimes our friends and I joke, our children are Quapa, right, for the so-called 1/4 experience. But I think, having become a parent, my relationship, I think, to my parents and to my various cultures have really, really changed. And I just want to keep apologizing to my parents. Like, I'm so sorry that I caused you so much pain, and so on and so forth. And so they're like, see, we told you so. We were waiting all your life to be able to tell you this. We told you so. But again, I think those 7 ingredients, without kind of being rigid about, oh, here's the guidebook on how to be a great parent, but really, intentionally parenting, giving the gift of our backgrounds and our cultures the best we can, having a strategy, putting our family in places where we can have these opportunities, being consistent about it, searching for support, sustaining. Because I really felt the sense of urgency when I became a mother. Again, it didn't matter to me a whole lot. I spent about, I came to the United States in 1984 as an adult to finish up college, and I've been here ever since. So from 1984 until 2005, when I had my daughter, I didn't really engage in, the larger Japanese community for the most part. I didn't really, I didn't consistently speak Japanese. And so as soon as I had my daughter, I thought, oh my gosh, there's a part of me that I really need to sustain and give as a gift to my daughter. And so, it sort of changed my relationship to Japanese culture, Japanese America, Japan, and Japanese culture at large. So it's been a really wonderful experience for me. I know I'm saying I'm doing this for my daughter, but in many ways it's like, wow, this is great for me. And I often hear my grandmother's been passed away since 1986, but I hear her voice a lot. when I'm reading to my daughter in Japanese or talking to her, or singing different Japanese folk songs. I keep hearing my grandmother's voice singing to me. So, I think it's been a real joy and rediscovering my Hapa-ness and hoping to convey that to my daughter in a joyous way that my family was able to do for me. So, okay.